All right, so here is what comes in the box. I was honestly very impressed by the quality and just the weight of the ARB differential cover. I'm also going to be using a gasket very similar to a lube locker, and then also Royal Purple gear oil. First thing we're going to do is to remove the fill plug. You want to make sure that you're able to do this before you do anything else. A lot of times if you're going to be draining your differential and for some reason one of your bolts breaks halfway through the process and you have to put everything back, you're not going to be able to fill your differential. So the first thing you want to do is, again, remove that fill plug. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the drain plug to be able to drain the differential. Make sure that you're doing a little bit of a better job in aligning your container here. All right, now that we have that done, next thing we got to do is remove the 13mm bolts in order to have the differential cover be loose. Now I've gone ahead and removed all of them, and what I'm going to be doing is just very lightly going to be tapping to separate and break that RTV sealant that's holding the differential cover, attaching it to the axle. So again, very gently. You can also use a rubber mallet and hit the differential cover directly in order to remove it. And then I can see there's a little wiggle room, so I can start moving it and now getting this out. So let's go ahead and put this on the scale and see the difference. So here it is, 3 pounds, 5.1 ounces, and now for the ARB. That's right, a whopping 10 pounds, 4.8 ounces. So again, this thing is massive, but that's what's going to really protect us when we're out in the trail on that Jeep. You want to make sure you're not going to puncture your differential cover. Next thing I'm going to do here is align the two differential covers, because I want to mark the dipstick pretty much so that I know how much fluid I need to put in the differential cover. Again, make sure that you're checking also your manual to know exactly how much differential fluid you need to put in. But this is going to make it really easy so that I can just take out that dipstick and see if I'm low or running high. Next thing I'm going to do is remove all of the RTV sealant that I have on the differential. Again, I want to make sure that I have a pretty good seal when I put that new gasket in. What I'm using here is a very sharp razor to remove all of the RTV that is left on the axle. Next, I'm going to be using some brake cleaner to clean the gears and make sure that everything, get all of the debris out and that everything is as clean as possible before I put the gear oil. I'm going to align the gasket to the differential cover just to make sure that everything's in there. I'm going to put these two bolts to kind of hold it in place as I put the differential cover back on the differential. One thing that is very important that you use is a thread locker. I had a lot of leaking when I didn't use this, so thread locker is a must when you're putting back the differential cover, especially with the ARB bolts that come with the kit. This is a very simple process. Here's one of those bolts, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of it, again, just to make sure that I have a pretty good seal and that they're not moving around. As you're driving, there's going to be a lot of vibration, and that eventually will loosen up your bolts unless you're using this. So there you go. That's pretty much all it takes. You want to do that on every single bolt that you're going to be using here. All right, so now I'm going forward and I'm installing all of the bolts that come with the set. Now you'll notice that there is that bar that goes right above one of them. So I'm going to show you here in a second how I took care of that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put the drain plug back in and start really getting the differential cover ready in the differential to be filled with the gear oil. Okay, now I'm tightening everything again, kind of hand tight. You can use a torque wrench if you know the specific measurement that you need to use. Now you'll notice again, this bolt kind of complicated. So what I'm doing is using a jack to lift the Jeep a little bit, and that'll give me enough clearance to now be able to get in there, just like that, to now be able to get in there and really tighten that bolt. Again, be very careful. I'm not lifting the actual Jeep. You can see the tires are still on the ground. It is just lifting, taking a little bit of the weight off in order to clear that bar. Again, make sure you're very careful as you're doing this because the car could fall off at any time. There we go. Next thing I'm going to do again is install that drain plug on the differential. Then I want to make sure that everything is very clean before I put the gear oil. So again, I'm using Royal Purple 75W90 gear oil. This is a very high quality gear oil. And again, I want to make sure that it's going to help keep everything well lubricated as I'm going off-road. When you're doing this, again, one easy thing you could do is just break the tip off, change it back in so that you don't have to do it on every single bottle. There you have it. Here's the before, and here is the after. I love also the way that it changes the look of the Jeep whenever I install this. So again, this is one of those simple upgrades you can do. Here's a differential cover, here's the box. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, make sure you add those to the comments. If you have other ways of doing this, also make sure you leave that in the comments section. Thank you again for watching, and please like and subscribe.